Who is Esteban Ocon?
That's a big question. Who is Esteban Ocon? A guy that's trying to live his dream to the fullest. A guy that always wanted to be racing in Formula One. That's passionate about cars. That loves, the sound of engines, the smell of fuel, the smell of burn rubber. And that feels free, when he drives. I think that's probably the good description of Esteban as a petrol head. If I would describe myself as a sports guy, I would say probably dedicated, motivated, and hungry. Maybe too much sometimes, but probably a good trait of mine. I've lived my whole life to be fighting for the top spots and trying to get further and further all the time, so you get more and more detailed on everything, and it can be difficult for the people around you, so there's a lot of things to manage on that side, but it's what has driven me all the time to be the better version of who I am, and I put everything together and I try to be the best version of myself I can, with taking care of the people that I have around me also.
Those people around you, how does that happen? How do you choose those people that work with you day in, day out?
Yeah. I mean, I'm very, very lucky to be surrounded by my family, by the people I have around, my girlfriend, but also my team, you guys also. You all are part of the journey. You are part of who I am at the end of the day, and we go through a lot of different emotions, some highs, some lows, but when they are high, it's very high, and that's the beauty of our sport. But yeah, I'm very lucky to be surrounded by people who try and do the best they can, for me always, and this I will forever be grateful for sure. You are like a big family. You are really proud of what you do. Doesn't matter if it's on track, or if it's on the marketing side, or if it's when it's something that we do well as a team. I don't know if there's like a pride because we're a bit smaller than some other teams, but when we do it better than the others, it's like, yes, come on, let's go. It's like everybody's like cheering in the garage when we do super well, and everyone is like very down, obviously, when we are not doing the right things. And it's not every team's the same. Some people in F1, they just take it as a normal job, and they are the same. They are coming back at the hotel on the evening and nothing has changed. But this is not really how I feel things, and this is obviously very similar in Haas, and that's very good. Yeah, when I joined this team, it's when we say something, there's no political behind. It's straightforward, and that's a very good thing about being here. Is that obviously we have to perform. We have a lot of pressure, to do so, but it is clear where we are going. It is amazing, to look back and see everything that we've done. But I'm at a point where I'm also thinking I haven't achieved much, really. Yes, I've done some podiums here and there. Yes, I've had a win, but there's not that much that I've achieved. So I have a lot more, to do in that sport, and this is what I want to do. I want to fight for bigger things, than that, and I really hope that we will be able to write some very cool things, together with this team. That's my aim, and that's why I've came here, to be doing that.
And what would you like to achieve still? Would you want to race? You've got podiums.
Yeah, well, that would be the first thing, to achieve the first podium, for the team. But I think for us it would be very nice to be in the points, at every race, and to be close to the top 5, and hopefully, being there most of the time, because that's when things starts to be very interesting. If you are let's say 6th, 7th, 8th all the time, then you have a shot for podiums for quite often in the races because things are gonna happen. So that's what I'm wishing for. That's for Santa on my wish list.
What does Esteban Ocon do away from a racetrack when he's at home?
I'm gonna sound very boring, but not a lot. No. I basically train the whole days already. You know, when I'm off, we have so many little consecutive days. It's very important to use those as best, you know, to recharge the battery and still keep fit, you know, towards the end of the year. That's quite important. So that's the first thing. Then when I have a day off, I like to spend time with my family, with obviously my girlfriend, doing things that I like, you know, either going to the cinema, watch some Marvel movies, or I don't know, enjoy some drift days with some friends, or some buggy racing, or some RC cars. It needs to be something with wheels and a steering wheel, and or some kind of fuel and tires in there, you know. That's just what I like to be doing. And actually recently I went back to one of my go-kart tracks that I went a long time ago, you know, that I started on. I was with my dad there. We had a day driving in that place, and it reminded me a lot of cool memories, you know. And yeah, that's something I don't do enough, but I would probably go back to go-karting quite a bit also.
Was that emotional?
Yeah, it was quite emotional, and on top of that, they are gonna put the photo of that day driving in front of the track as the entrance. So yeah, it means a lot. It means a lot because I grew up in that place. There was a lot of people that I've seen again, you know, that I didn't see for quite a while. And yeah, it reminds you of a lot of things and a lot of simple things, how cool it was back then, and it still is, you know, it's awesome. But yeah, it is, you know, without them, of course I would not be here, but not in that sense, you know, like the sacrifice they've put in their whole life. They've done the job of 25, 30 people all together, you know. That's how hard they've climbed that mountain, you know, that we had to climb. And I'm proud of everything we've done, you know, all together, because a lot of people were not putting much money on us, literally and as a big phrase, you know, people were not really believing we were going to go anywhere. And with the mental strength, with sweat, we've managed to do otherwise, and that's beautiful. But as I said, you know, me and my family, people are very competitive, and yeah, we were discussing that with my dad the other day. I didn't achieve much yet, so there's much more I want to achieve.
And is it slightly crazy that if you take that boy to now, like, you're about to go in, you're in F1, it's a whole new regulation change, you've got experience behind your back, it's not the first one, and you are leading along with Ollie the team into a direction. How does that feel, you know, from what you said to now you're leading at Formula One team,
yeah,
into a whole new regulation change, and what you're feedbacking helps us shape the future.
It's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of weight on the shoulder. It's good that I'm training a lot my neck and my shoulders, so I'm strong. But no, being serious, obviously, it is exciting. I think everyone's super excited about that rule change. It resets the door to something new. Obviously, there's a lot of unknown, but the team knows that they can count on me because, you know, I will put the work that's needed, you know, to be ready to learn as much as we can, you know, before we start. And once we are at it, I'm more motivated than ever to go. So yes, I have experience, but I don't think that's going to count very much, you know, into that year. I think, you know, I've joined Formula One with the rule that we've always had. Basically, the car changed, the chassis, the tires, but the engine was always the same. And now we're entering an era where the engine has changed massively. So I think it would be quite a shock for all of us. but it's going to be up to the one who understand the things the quickest. That's going to be favorites in the beginning. So yeah, I mean, I'm ready to learn and see how it goes. You know, this is how Formula One is now. You know, I was saying that earlier with Oli, but we are pretty much more engineers than drivers nowadays, and that's going to be even more true for this year. But I'm more excited for the competition, you know, that we are going to have between all the teams, and there are some new teams coming along with big names. And I think Formula One has never been in such a good place. So yeah, it's really exciting.
Wish you all the best for a good season ahead.
Thank you very much. We will do our best, and I'm sure we'll have good things to discuss about throughout the year.